Okay, good evening everyone. So today we will see about two things. So one is like a TriviaDB API, and then we will be seeing how to escape like unescaping HTML entities. So we will be seeing what exactly the HTML entities are. So sometimes when we fetch the data from the API, it actually get in form of some HTML entities, not in a human readable format. So we will be converting that to human readable format using Python. Let's see what exactly Trivia API is. So the Trivia API is the application programming interface which having a large database of trivia question and answers. So this API can be used to create quizzes, educational apps, and different kind of stuff. So we can create our own quiz app, something like you already played KYC like Khan Banega Karodpati, similar kind of stuff. We will can be using this Open Trivia DB API. So it's actually free JSON API, but there are multiple parameters we need to pass. So to do that, so we have already given the link. So if we go to that link, so here we have the documentation, API documentation if you want to see check. So this will be what exactly is that the documentation you can go through. But for example, how many questions you want, what is the category? So if you want multiple categories, you can select, or if you want only one category also you can select. For example, I am selecting general knowledge, and difficulty level, any difficulty can be set, and the type as of now we are selecting true or false. The encoding will be default encoding. When we click on the generate API URL, it will so just I'm selecting again. I'm selecting. I'm clicking generate API. So now if you see here, our API URL is generated. So amount number of questions is linked parameter. So this is the main API URL. But here we are passing the parameters like amount, how many number of questions are there, and then category is like it has given number category. So we have selected uh, general knowledge. So the category is like 9, and the type is like a boolean. So yesterday in the similar kind of stuff we have given latitude, longitude, right? So the similar kind of stuff, but here we have another way of doing that. Instead of giving directly with question mark, we can actually pass the parameters by defining the parameters in a JSON format. So here let's see what exactly. So let's save it. So if you see here, this is up to the API URL, and then we are passing the parameters, uh, the arguments you can say. So for keyword arguments, and then in the keyword arguments we are passing the values for that. So now the amount is 10, the category is 10, and the type is boolean. So similarly, what we are defining the same thing: amount equal to 10, category equal to 10, and type is boolean. And here from the request method, get method, we can pass them as params with the keyword argument in the get method of this module, and then we are passing what are we defined, and then we are raising it for any errors, and then we are actually storing it in JSON because the output will be in JSON format anyways, and then we want only this will give the response code and the results. So but we are interested only the results key value, and then we are actually storing all the data in one variable. So this is like how to right, we will see in the next class. So now generally if I run this, actually I'm already running. So now So it is actually storing, for example, if you see here the category general knowledge question. So here, this what I am asking, what I am mentioning about. So and code analysis mode is as word for pineapple in other language. So anas is like pineapple in Hindi we call it as anas. So the same kind of stuff. It's like the answer in the answer is false. So even if you change to type like multiple choice also, the similar kind of output we will get. So now when we see the output, so every time we hit the API, it will have multiple questions. Right? Because we are selecting only 10, it will actually randomly select 10 and it will pass it. Now, so we have seen what exactly the HTML entities I'm talking about. So it is something like we have seen and quote. So it's like and keyword. So it represents the quotation mark. So instead of having this quotation mark, uh, double quotes, we are actually getting this and quote. So these are actually special character sequences and it has special meaning HTML. So actually it prevents interpretation as HTML code. So whenever we want to pass some arguments to HTML code, so when we write an HTML page, so if we give some double quotes, it might consider it as HTML code. But if you want it as an string, so we need to pass something like this in that because our output is actually HTML out. That's why it is they are actually what the API is doing. It is giving us uh, in the HTML not code format. I meant to say this is giving HTML comma readable format. But our we might not be understanding multiple things like non-breaking space and greater than less than. Here we are understanding, but there are multiple things here. These are the only few examples what we have got. So for doing that, we can actually do it via a few websites like freeformatter.html. So when we copy and paste that, for example, I am copying this. So now I am doing unescape HTML. So now if you see here, uh, this single quote is so Anas is the mostly. So it has converted it to double quotes like the quote is like unquote unquote. So this kind of stuff we can do manually, but how we can do in Python? There are multiple ways to do in Python. For example, it is like the first main thing is like the default library using HTML library. We can actually do the same thing here. So by importing and the encoded text whatever we have got, and then we will be calling the HTML dot unescape method and pass the whatever the text we have got, and we are printing that. Similarly, we have XML SAX utilities. The similar kind of stuff. We will be using the unescape method again. Even the third-party library like HTML entities library. So again, the third-party library which is used only for this kind of stuff. So if you see here, and dash 169 is the copyright symbol. So now how we will be dealing that in Python is like, so here I am importing HTML. Now because I have a set of data, So just I am looping over all that data where we have multiple, like I meant to say there will be 10, at least 10 questions which are in dict format. So dictionary key. So I am looping over, but all these are in a list. So if you see list of, in the list it's having so for accessing each of that I am what I am doing, I am taking one element at a time in the list, in the desktop list where multiple dictionaries are there. So whenever I loop forward, so I will get the first dictionary. In the first dictionary I am calling the question. Question is the key. So I am calling the question is key in the first dictionary, so it will print whatever here as of now this one Anas. Similarly, just I am printing that, but I don't want, again I want to unescape the HTML character HTML entities. So now actually I am printing the same thing directly. I am giving question underscore text and then just saving. Now if I run it, so it should print all the 10 questions with and without escape. So if you see here, so quote buffalo quote is grammatical correction. So there might not be in every question there might not be HTML entities, but wherever are there, it will be automatically convert. So here if you see again quote spam quote, the term spam came before the food product spam. So Vietnam, so apostrophe, so for apostrophe there is another uh, quote HTML entity. So similarly, I mean to say this is the main thing. So this is very useful when we are doing the backend operations, or when we are doing the web scraping uh, using a request library and getting the data from the websites. This is one of the important thing we should be taking care. So depending on our project requirements, we should actually choose whatever the best way, and we have to consider factors like compatibility, additional features, and performance. And when escaping the text from trusted sources, so maybe there might be a different websites we might not be know that there can be attacks like security attacks, like one of the attacks is cross-site scripting. So this cross-site scripting is like it can affect your website. If you are hosting any website, it can actually attack that. So oh, it's a cyber security attack. One of the other thing is like a SQL injection attack. So if our site is not built to that security level, then our site will goes into the hacker. So we will should be very careful when we are doing the unescaping, when we are doing some any web scraping kind of stuff. This is about the trivia of API and the unescaping the HTML entities. So in the next class we will be building a Tkinter UI using this app, and we will be providing the feedback to the user whenever user clicks correct or not. Depending on that, we will be building a Tkinter UI, and in the background it will hit the trivia API and get the questions and displayed on the Tkinter canvas. So that's the one thing going forward. I think that's it for today. Thank you.